Hello, welcome to the show. We had a bet. We had a bet that Rocky Outcrop's video would get 600 views in the next 15 minutes, and I would find you here on this live stream as the sun comes in behind me, and I stream in alignment with it into your optical nerve, pinching it, pointing it at Rocky's video, and the like button, and the share button, and comments. And I anticipated that this would happen, that both YouTube would let me down in not updating the views, so I couldn't properly put you to the test, and it was a big ask in such a short period of time, so good effort. This show, really, the main benefit you'll get from it is the potential push toward Rockies, and you watching that, where you'll get a great take on price action on all your favourite stocks, and you'll learn how to, by osmosis, bit by bit, that's his intention and part of his plan, you'll learn to trade like an expert. So this is a speculative bat harmonic. It suggests that the price could come up and test in at around 125 on live version before making a low lower than 110. That would be in line with this period of consolidation. Even getting back there would also be simply a test of support. Speculative in that you've not completed the harmonic. I certainly wouldn't be trading for any move off the back of this, nor would I at this stage be speculating about retracements back down from that D point to where price currently is. I would be looking at the cross on the moving average on a 15-minute time frame. If it can hold that, testing it is perfectly natural. If it can hold that, 236 at 117, back above there, if it can do all of that while persisting above that short-term moving average, be very, very strong indication of a good day ahead. 30-minute time frame, this is what I think is interesting on live person. Be a little bit of a change here when it finally decides to actually input the data. Isn't that right, computer? Yeah, so this was the area where we're looking to price trying to push back above into the bullish control zone on its own moving average, and subsequently to the market opening this morning, you've had one 30-minute close back down there at the center line on the RSI, which is confluent with this moving average test. It's also where you find the Bollinger Band on that 30-minute center line there, potentially an area of support. We've also got the 236 at 1.12, it's the bottom Bollinger Band and the daily low. So it might be that you see it in and around those areas from yesterday. Again, today, 4-hour time frame then, slightly clearer. This 1, 2, 3 peaks, and it's come into that area, again faced a degree of resistance, given validity to that trend line. It's roughly drawn. You could do it differently if you wanted to. Cross the body closes, perhaps more helpful like that. Anyway, same difference. And then the lows, and at the bottom here, that's support. So it's not an obvious formation when it's drawn so roughly, but you might be looking at that sort of thing. Equally, you could take it as a horizontal. Anyway, support at this stage in and around that 382, 110 to 111 to 112, those sort of areas, if it doesn't hold where it is at the minute. So that's what we're looking at on live person, potentially capturing price action in the short term. Back down to 1 minute just to have a double check of that, what it's doing. That's not fantastic, it's not terrible. So we'll see how price action evolves during the day on live person. NVDA, we thought it would push to new highs, it did so. The minute you've got potential consolidation at these levels, if it doesn't slip back into that gap, that'd be very positive. I'm getting frustrated with my tightening of the price action there, just as I was getting comfortable with it. NVIDIA. So I'm still positive on NVIDIA. I suspect that it's holding its gap at the minute. It's got reasons to start boosting up from here. That's very positive. Where is SPY? You're supposed to be giving me a heads up, SPY. Where are you? There it is. Gap here at open. Close that at 5842. Doesn't have to get all the way there. It's in the bearish control zone at the minute. It's not actually oversold or divergent. You're on the 1 minute time frame, SPY. What are you trying to do? So anyway, a little bit of a gap. Fill that. Probably bounces at the first pass. This was a higher high. Things are very strong. Has lost its own moving average, and so it could come back test the center line. You saw in this trend previously during its periods of consolidation, it held the center line here. This was price action falling from the top side, came back down to where you found your prior lows on the RSI. So momentum suggests that this was one of the longer term lows. Check on the hourly and 4 hour. Just looks like a linear trend to the top side, that being a buy a dip opportunity, and likely that's what we see again, more of the same when that gap closes, or in advance of it. It doesn't even necessarily need to close. Tesla, I see that is still struggling. Used to be those keynote speeches where all the rage, you know, everyone loved them. Now people hate seeing middle-aged men on stage blowing their own trumpet. Apparently it's not fashionable. Who'd have thunk it? So that's really interesting. We've looked at all of those interesting things. Also wanted to take a quick look at NIX because they did announce they were going to invest $1 billion, $1 billion in stable, long-term, good businesses that'll help boost their, what is it, branded gift products or something, wholesale gift market, something like that, something dead innovative, right? Super innovative. Anyway, we're going to invest $1 billion, which is a lot of money considering their market cap this morning was like 40. What was it? Do you want to even tell me? 7.84 million at the minute. Trebling in price. There, post market. Huge gap to fall into, not managing to persist with its bullish orientation at the minute. It's already pushed well into that gap, not closed it. Very dangerous. You know, you get these things, these pre-market stocks, these moves pre-market in some stocks which have got very low market cap, and it can drive very volatile periods at open, which can instantly cost people lots and lots of money. So if you're going to ever trade these sort of moves, it's absolutely imperative you put risk management at the heart of your strategy. Finding them's dead easy. You know, it's much less about finding tickers as it is about how you apply yourself to your trading. You can lose all your money trading something that's really easy to trade with a really obvious trend if you do your risk management wrong. So it's far more important your own actions and how you control those things you can control than the magic of finding the thing that's going to move. And then when you're looking for things that are going to move, you would like those long-term sustained trends to be those ones that you can commit significant capital to. You know, that's how you manage risk with regards to position sizing, and also on the immediate where the rubber meets the road on the smaller time frames, little opening momentum stocks. So that's what we're looking at, right? And it's just a quick update, look around the markets. Nothing desperately exciting to point out. Period consolidation. This harmonic, very speculative, and the trend lines that it contains aren't applicable to the direction of price in the immediate terms. Probably more confusing than anything else. It wasn't for the point of this show though, it was something else I was just doing yesterday. As this huge harmonics drawings on these charts pop up. So let me know if there's anything I'm missing here, anything anybody's asked me to look at. Diana Stevenson gifted a membership, and Angel Beats. Angel Beats. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Diana Stevens. What a great group of folks we got here. Rocku's video was great last night. Loved the passion analysis. And just cut off the rest of the message. And still cutting it off. And space background. Yeah, that was pretty damn nifty. Great, good to see everybody. I don't think I've missed anything in particular there. What's your thoughts on Rocku? Looks like a good play. Rocku. Oh look, we've already had some thoughts on Rocku. So it seems to be doing quite well compared to what we imagined. I'll turn off the indicator so we can see. So far so good. It looks like I've anticipated this formation taking a little bit longer. You had your bullish divergence at the most recent lows, and that's led to price coming up and testing resistance. It's very much had that retracement it needed. So what you're looking at here is, we've definitely got logarithmic. No. So really what you're looking at here is a Duttker Y front diet, right? This is a Duttker Y front diet here. You don't actually have everything you'd need, everything you'd like. You would like better than what we've got. You've got, in terms of reversal formation, you might, you've got it, I've already drawn it in there, like this is the inverted head and shoulders, which had this suggested move. And you were interrupted by the 236 and the prior level of resistance, which also ended up taking price action out of this channel it'd be putting in its strongward move to the top side. So you're looking for then this period of consolidation here, which is very possible, in these long-term bottoming reversals. Price action often does this sort of thing, what we've seen it on recently, like PayPal. So it's putting in these bottoming formations. You can threaten, flatter to deceive and threaten to break out long before it actually does. I think Baba's also been similar, like the basin it has on price. So you're looking at that thinking it could continue price action, come back down and test that level once it breaks out of it. The real resistance at 86, manage to get back above there, then you'd be looking at moves up to 150 potentially. If that breaks, right, it could get a bit silly. At this stage, I'd be looking at that target 150 and the entry in at around 85, 90, that sort of level. It would have broken through that resistance and come back to test it first, and then you've got really, really strong confirmation of a potential return to those higher levels. Beyond that, you can manage the trade with your following stop and whatnot. This is the bullish divergence that led to this move to resistance. It has to prove that that's all broken, because there's that flash at 64 spot 37 on the weekly, and that's dodgy. Daily time frame looks positive, though it's getting increasingly difficult to see anything that's happening there. This is the Baba trade. This really worked out quite well, I would say. There's target 1. There's target 2 on 125. There's target 3 at 165. There's Tradespotting take pocket up at around 242. It takes a while, right? It takes a while, these periods of consolidation, the bottom in, the breaking out, you see. So this is why it's similar, right? You've got the inverted head and shoulders here. And you had the measured move, you had the long-term resistance, you had a 236, which isn't actually showing up on the chart at the minute. It was also back at the IPO price, all-time low. And this is when I described this as the cheapest tech stock in the world, which at the time it was. It's obviously significantly higher now than 65 bucks, up 30%. About to go through 100 again. So yeah, there's a flash deck down there at 89 spot 47. That's totally perfectly possible. The difference with Baba here from Rocku a minute ago is the harmonic resonance that you had here, along with the reversal formation. You didn't quite get the full harmonic resonance you would have liked during that reversal formation with the inverted head and shoulders, but it had more of it. It didn't have the full sweet shebang, straight house, live person, rounded bottom, inverted head and shoulders, perfect harmonic, perfect 98% retracement, clear support and resistance, obvious areas to break. It didn't have quite the full suite, but it did have 3 out of 5, maybe Baba, which is similar to Rocku. So what do I think about them? I think that the markets are doing really well at the minute. They probably continue to do so, especially after the second week in November, third week in November. I'd expect things to be really settled by then and the trend to be obvious. I think large macro events, we've seen the worst of the worst there, right? SPY is doing fine. It's weathered a storm. It was a storm in the Middle East. Russia's going to collapse in 2025. That's a prediction we've made about a year ago. It's war economy, and it's the way it's set up. It's not sustainable. I don't give a shit about the political situation with regards to Russia, and I quite like Russia and Russian people, but their fucking economy is a piece of shit, and their regime that's running it out there, total joke. Anyone who thinks that Russia are the good guys, more fool you. Anyway, they're not going to last. So there's going to be positive implications for geopolitics all around the world over the next wee while. Like Eurozone inflation is fantastic, it's improving. There's going to be huge interest rates cuts, quicker, deeper, bigger than we expected in the UK. America's going to follow suit. And everybody's going to be more wealthy and healthy and more profitable in future. It's all going to be positive, I think. It looks like it's cleared all the major dangers, and I can see, the worst of the worst looks to have passed in most arenas. So I think everything's fine, and I'm very excited then for a live person to move to the top side here. Anyway, that was Rocku. I only got one thing in. I covered loads of different topics. What else is on the chat? What else is the chat? You are killing it, thank you very much. PSNY Golden Cross on a daily, but also looks bearish in this downtrend. Yeah, so you have bullish divergence there. That led to this retracement. You had the rocket flash, didn't you? If you get the rocket flash, if you haven't got it yet, it's for you're costing yourself money. You know, just as you get like a really good trade, if you don't go big on that position, then you're not a natural trader, right? You're going to have to learn that skill, and if you haven't learned it after a number of years, then you're going to have to catch up with people who do learn how to do that. You know, when you've got a real good opportunity that matches your edge, it confirms everything you know about trading to be correct, and you've got a proper risk management strategy, so you know you can't lose a certain more percentage than would be healthy, then you should be going heavy into those positions, right? That's how you become rich as a trader, right? Otherwise you get hit by a bus any day you walk outside, right? So, and that's the real risk about going outside. It's not that you might get hit by a bus, it's that you cumulative risk of you not actually achieving your dreams, right? So stop going out and walking in front of buses and start getting better position sizing. And that's an analogy that's also true about learning how to trade properly, right? So a lot of people think like, well, when I get half decent at trading, then I'll take the course, which is like, why would you do that? That's like, I'll run backwards until such times as I've got the confidence to go forwards. I mean, you've got to start thinking about what you're costing yourself by not doing certain things, right? Just like in those good trades where you could have a large position, you know perfectly well that your edge works in these scenarios. You go understand the degree of cost in taking a trade. That should be something you've been set up for, managing your position for. In other stocks, you should have free cash available to take advantage of these opportunities. You should have a portfolio management perspective over your trading, and you should be able to take advantage of things like live person when they happen, and being able to make those decisions and understand like to strike while the iron's hot and so on. That's obviously true also of getting things like an indicator which tells you where price is going. You know, you would rather have that in order to achieve your other goals rather than make that a goal which on the route to you lose all your money trading like an idiot, wouldn't you? So make that a goal for you, right? So it's really good advice. Not for you particularly, right? For everybody who's not got it. PSNY, I think Rocky talked about this last week, so he probably looked at that flash and then talked about these moves. He was kind of bullish on that potential for it to make some sort of a higher move, and I suppose it's done quite a good one. You've got also a strong downtrend. You can take it from all sorts of different places. There on the daily time frame, like you're talking about, is that 886 retracement there broke, that being a retest, also matching the diagonal. That makes sense. You've got your long-term fib suggests that 217 would be a touch of resistance. Let's drop it there. As you can see, that's true. If it does make it up, then maybe you'd be looking up at around 489. If it does manage to hold support here, test back above 218, then you might be targeting those sorts of areas, right? And that is that anti-shark, maybe, and then you'd be looking at that potentially, right? Or maybe you're looking at this and thinking there's potentially other harmonics within that, like that also looks like one, and then you've got a little bit of something in here. So that Polestar, yeah, I mean it could make a good moves, right? But I also don't focus too much on this side of things. You're better asking Rocky about Polestar for sure. But there's a reversal formation in play. If it holds support, that's great. And you were talking about the moving average cross. Get prepared for a billion different bits of data. There is the daily cross potentially coming in. The test of it at this time makes sense. That's all very good. That's all very good. You can see the pullback on momentum is only to a trend line. It's dramatic compared to price. So you're not getting immediate confirmation. That's the thing. It might look like it's about to shoot off, but you don't know exactly when the trigger is going to go. So it doesn't look bad, right? That's good. Probably another buy the dip opportunity. The trend hasn't actually materialized to the top side yet. Anything significant, because as soon as it put in these higher highs, right, you've got these lower lows. Look, I've got all of those trend reversals and continuations drawn in for me. How amazing is this indicator? Absolutely brilliant. There's your reversal break. Go through there, price will go up. Go through there, price will go up. Keeps getting that. Go through here's your continuation break. You got it. There's your reversal break, back down again. It just tells you where price is going all the time, and that's just one tiny part of this indicator. Honestly, anyway, right? So you already know my recommendation. It's more important that you follow that, I would say, than it is any particular ticker you're talking about. Boom, 34 people watching. It's because this is, I think, an unlisted stream. So I did, in two minds, you know, because the streams have to be sustainable, right? And like, we can't rely on just a few, there's one of them there, a few generous people in the chat box like that. Good to see everybody. So, you know, I thought, well, I'll just do it for Discord members only. And I thought, that's not fair because I've got my own channel members. I love those guys. They're the same people. Hello. So then, you know, I thought I'll leave it unlisted. And then it's true that it's very obviously a reward to everybody who's on Rocky's Discord, or who is a channel member and who's engaging with the content, because obviously then you're the ones that show up. So thank you very much for being here. Appreciate yous all. Diana Stevens with the membership gift. I appreciate you most of all, Diana. Most of everyone, you. And then I see Symbol, JS, and Amps, who recently renewed their memberships. Thank you very much, folks. Good to see you here. RO Toolkit plus the Flash is the best. It is. It's absolutely brilliant. You're welcome, Mr. Simple Sir. Thank you. That's looking kind of interesting. Is it? Is it? Who asked me about that last ticker? Was it Careless Whisper? Interesting. Interesting. It's good to know, you know, when people ask about things, you learn a little bits about people's personalities and what they're interested in and what it is that's attracting them to trading, or what part of their personality is relevant. Look at that brilliant work we did back then. So it's interesting. I do try to remember who asked about what, but it's difficult. This is why it's so much better when it comes with a facts request and it gets printed off and then I can read it as I go to sleep that night. So there's a gap here, the bottom side of it at 934. That's a significant percentage chunk up again. You get your bullish divergence in the period of consolidation, you've come back up to an 886. It needs to break back above these levels in order to test, you know, first here at, you know, 770 and then 850. At which point you're in the gap, you know, you're basically going, I mean, basically, I hate saying that, you're essentially going for the bottom side of that gap. That's the trade at the minute, and at around 950. It's already very strongly into the bullish control zone, which is great and all, but price at an 886 and no more. It could easily come back down, test the center line, you know, see how strong the move on price is compared to the momentum at this stage to get a really good judge of things, because that period of consolidation, the breakout, didn't come with the reversal formation really, just the divergence itself. 4 hour daily, then you've got a lot of the divergence there, and you are at a strong point when you talk about that trend line. Yo, there's this 543 flash not interrupted. I suppose you could come there and get some 3 touches on it. So you've got the 50 simple below the 200 too, and that the Ichimoku cloud, the moving average cross. The fact that it did leave a gap when you look at price action in advance of that being bearishly divergent, it's not completely surprising. Is this a fair value gap down here at 542 as well? It may well be, it looks like it is. You know, so potentially it comes back and tests those areas. I mean, the better trade on it would be from there, if it got there, 540, 550, and then trying to take the bottom side of that gap from there. Gives you a huge percentage move. From here, though, it might have already started back above the 50 simple. What's the hourly saying with regards to that moving average situation? This is strong. That's something to look to. Right, that'd be closing the gap and then some. Price action hasn't been incredibly inspiring there. It's really huffing and puffing, though, I can tell you that. And I wish for it to be rewarded, but I don't see it as being a sensible entry right here. It's immediately at a touch of resistance, and that's an 886 from a breakdown. So it has to prove itself right now, rather than you have to prove anything to yourself trading this until you get a better opportunity here, I would say. Or unless you're already in, you're managing risk and whatnot, and I know you've got a good eye on this tube, so. Right. How long have we been streaming for? 24 minutes, 25 minutes on the nose. You're welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Whisper. If you had a whisper, they're brilliant. Gold, whisper gold. What a brilliant invention. Thanks, brother. You're welcome, Mr. BMJ. No, you already do plenty to support everything that's going on. You're a legend, you. Don't worry. Thank you. What a way to start the day. You're welcome. You're welcome, Diana. So yeah, that's it. What do we want to look at now? What's the big movements? The big movements on this list is nothing. It's NVDA. It's NVDA. And then there's obviously VIX, but I didn't keep it on my list because, well, what did I just see there? I opened volatility index. I was looking at NIX. That's what I wanted to look at. Well, I mean, the news has had its impact. Hasn't managed to escape back out of the gap since it dropped into it, and there's dangerous flashes below. Not as exciting as it could be. Could have been exciting, but it's far too dangerous. What is VIX doing? Well, that makes sense. So you've put that in context. You know, you've had your weekly VIX spike, and it came from in at around $10. They're like more devastating in the world economy when they come from 8, but apart from that, you've had the move. You know, you've had the volatility spike. This is the pre-election volatility VIX move. It's happened, and that return into trend would be SPY return into topside. So I'm pretty sure the world has been saved. I'm pretty sure they would have. I think the world's been saved. Until next time, I have been watching Verizon since they partnered with LivePerson. They're very smart, Verizon. Very smart. Very smart. There's so many industries opening up for LivePerson. You see, they've got the generative AI capabilities coming to their customers and no extra charge. It's great when companies do that sort of thing. You know, if you bought a product and it's online in some sense, and like the company who's making it keep providing updates and making it better, and you're not having to pay anything, you already thought it was good enough to buy it in the first place. That's great. So LivePerson doing that thing, adding value to their customer journey and the customers, you know, their clients' customer journey that way, improving those businesses. It's a real partnership, and that sort of business relationships, they lead to strong elements of growth, you know, because a lot of companies, they don't look at like, oh, how much does it cost per request to the machine, right? Even if they even know this. A lot of companies think that it's just tech is just a question of, do you have computers in the office, you know, and like, so what they're really not focused on the margin of every transaction as highly as, you know, maybe a bootstrapped tech startup might be doing. And LivePerson applies, you know, this business model and pricing model works for everybody, along with the enterprise customers who will be requiring the full services. They've also got now a new pricing model that makes it easy for smaller, medium businesses to get involved. And they've got an approachable business solution, which isn't just for people who look into every fine margin, but also for people who want to understand how they can improve their customer service in a general way. And LivePerson will meet those customers, those clients, you know, they'll meet them more than halfway in explaining all the opportunities available to them long before they've signed up to use the service. So LivePerson offers, being this the nature as it does as a big business with a lot of experience, offers a different value to a customer than say a new startup. And it's those leveraging that experience and deploying it effectively to improve your relationships with your customers. That's what John Sabino means when he talks about, you know, our company having the security of a 10, 15-year horizon, so they don't have to worry about debt, and their customers can be convinced that they'll also be around in 15 years' time, which gives you the confidence to commit to these long-term relationships, because you don't want to be changing full port your customer service solution every few years. Where are these overheads? So really you want to be looking at not just the overheads for introduction of a new service, the variable cost of every transaction or every request to the server, but it's the customer value in the relationship when you walk in and find out how it is that this solution can work for you, even if you don't ultimately go with that firm. And LivePerson are the go-to company for that conversation, not some shitty startup who are always trying to sell you something on the phone. And LivePerson demonstrate that all the time with their product offering and the way they work on things in that regard. So it's super positive. If you're looking at the fundamentals, it's all grand. If you're looking at the technicals, the strategy is really clear. And there are a couple of points of pressure, which we'll be detailing and talking about shortly. The Spark event is on the 23rd of October, and then earnings on the 6th of November. There's a lot happening in the greater world at that time. Oh my goodness, Albert, you can't donate. What a terrible, terrible... What is that then? Perhaps I've put in an old address. You might be able to find it on your history. Your history, or the wonderful, wonderful mods might have a link to a working page. But it's very generous of you to offer. Thank you very much. Maybe that's why nothing came through, because that's not worked. Maybe that's what it is. So, thanks for letting me know, Albert. Have a look at that. Obviously, I won't be able to do it just right now during the stream without interrupting everything. What were we just finishing talking about? It was LivePerson, 23rd of November, 23rd of October, 6th of November. It's 10 working days between those dates. There is US elections. That'll be interesting. You're getting the October Consumer Price Index. The inflation report is coming out on November the 13th, at which point you would anticipate there being a big drop in inflation. In the UK, it's got down to 1.8. That's below the central bank's target of 2%. So the economy looks grand. Everything seems fine, despite the fact that everything politically seems to be getting very, very nasty and shattered. It makes it difficult to the news recently, when you look to American news, is full of so much political conversation. It's hard to determine, separate fact from fiction, which when you're a trader and all you're really looking for is the pragmatic take on things, at least that would be the front and center side of things. It can get really frustrating, which is why I use Tradespotting news for all of my news sources, and I recommend you do the same. Tell your family and friends that they should do the same, where the only thing we talk about is really good, interesting information and no stupid nonsense. Tubes tipped $10 7 minutes ago, so it definitely works. All right, Tubes has got the skills. Thanks, Tubes. It's appreciated. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you. Albert, you're going to have to work on your technical proficiency, it seems. And here was me thinking that you were absolutely up on all that tech stuff. What is that in the background? VIX, on what time frame? Weekly? Aye. We'll just sit there, will we? What else did anyone want to look at? People didn't desperately jump in to hear all about GME, and maybe they think that it's... I did get a comment on a video the other day, like, why do we not see any more GME content on this channel? We do see it every so often when I feel that there's an urgent need to tell people about things, and I keep a close eye on it all the time, but nobody ever asks for it, nobody asks for it. So, but people ask for things today, and GME wasn't one of the things, though I did cover it a little bit. So that's why that is. Anyway, this information is in the moving averages are negative, price action putting in lower highs and lower lows, and these spikes that we saw previously, not those exact spikes. This positive move that took price action, this huge impulse to the top side, that was in large part due to social media activity with regards to Mr. Roar and Kitty Sir, who, we had a conversation about this. He's intimated that he sold his GameStop position, and he did it after the bad earnings call, and he's since then opened up a Chewy position of a similar dollar value. So everybody was thinking, I say everybody, and was thinking, some people were under the impression that he's not holding it anymore, and so any demonstration to the opposite of that fact would have a very bullish implication for the market. And until such times as there's more clarity around that situation, there will be a lot of money betting against it, and those are more important than the fundamental and underlying operations of GameStop. Really, they're all much bigger threat of topside volatility comes from something Roaring Kitty might do, as opposed to a slow burning strategic move from GameStop, of course, which takes time to filter out into the market. So they've got their new partnership though with the card grading, and it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Some people think about it as like they need GameStop to, craft a silver bullet, and that's somehow going to solve all the problems. But I think GameStop are wise to be building on their base value, that it's a trade-in destination. And so they expand the number of products that you can do that with makes sense. To me, makes sense. Sticking to your knitting, that's what they call it in business land. So it's not dramatically new on that front. Look, the market has turned red down there. Top side of this, it's because of the, yeah, makes sense. Right, so SPY. 1 minute. Did you go into that gap anymore? It looks like it'll be chasing it till lunchtime. Thanks very much for supporting the stream, Tubes. BMJ with a big, strong prediction to 49 in a month or so. Alrighty, so 43 folks, thanks very much for tuning in. Everybody here really appreciated. The fact that you found yourself here means that you were doing it via the Discord, or you heard and cared enough to tune in and check it out. So I appreciate that very much, and I hope that it was some way a reward for being such loyal members of the community. I appreciate you, especially everybody who was able to check out Rocky Outcrop's video. I definitely recommend you look to that video if you're looking for anything on Bitcoin, anything on Live Person. And he got a number of interesting requests, right? A number of them. And crypto could be about to go absolutely bonkers. If Bitcoin holds the support levels Rocky was talking about and makes it back above the resistance levels, then we're expecting 70-80% moves in some alts. So you also stay well aware of that by joining Discord. The link, obviously everybody here knows it, discord.gg/rockyoutcrop. But if I make the stream public for folks to see what they missed out on, then that might be an interesting link for them. I see that the price is just jumping around quite a lot when I click on the screen there. There's an awful lot of a jump there. Right, good to see it. Nothing else really happening desperately interesting to talk about at this exact moment in time, so we will see. I'll be watching the markets all day, every day, as I always am, and I'll be on Discord, so it'll be good to stay in touch with you there. Look, it's SPY going for it, buddy. Go on, buddy. You don't have to close the gap. You can just put in a higher high now. That was a higher low. Looking for 66 and 100. Japers, crapers on Bitcoin. Oh yes. Rocky had even higher potential targets. Even higher potential targets that he was talking about. I forgot I have my tennis outfit on. Right. Hit that like button.